Today, we're putting 5 of the most hyped fat tire e-bikes head to head. From raw power to real world range, comfort, brakes, and build quality. We tested them back to back so you don't have to. Ariel Rider X-Class 60V, the Ride1Up Revv1 DRT, the Eahora Romeo Ultra, MotorGoat V3, Super73 RX. Let's break it all down. Real world, no fluff. When you hit the throttle, what really matters is how quickly the bike responds, especially in city traffic, stop signs, or group rides. That's why we start with the 0 to 20 miles per hour acceleration test. It's one of the most realistic tests of everyday ride performance. In our acceleration test, the Ariel Rider X-Class 60V was the clear winner. It hit 20 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds, delivering a powerful jolt of torque right from the jump. Next was the Revv1 DRT, which came in at a very respectable 4.5 seconds. It felt smooth and predictable, not just aggressive. Then came the Romeo Ultra. It clocked 4.8 seconds, which is solid for its weight, but the acceleration felt slower than the motor specs suggested. The Super73 RX followed, hitting 20 miles per hour in around 5.2 seconds. Not slow, but definitely not what you'd expect from a bike at this price point. And finally, the MotorGoat V3. It came in at 5.8 seconds. The slowest off the line, but still powerful once it picks up momentum. When it comes to acceleration, the Ariel Rider X-Class 60V doesn't just win, it dominates. The moment you twist that throttle, it moves. Next up, top speed. This is where we see who really brings the heat when you're wide open on the throttle. The Ariel Rider X-Class 60V once again takes the crown here, topping out at a blistering 46 miles per hour. And it doesn't just hit that number, it feels planted doing it, with no wobble or fade, even on long stretches. Coming in just behind was the MotorGoat V3, hitting 45 miles per hour. It's seriously fast, but it didn't feel quite as stable at those speeds, especially when the road surface got sketchy. The Eahora Romeo Ultra maxed out around 41 miles per hour. Plenty quick, but it took a while to get there. This one's more of a steady speed cruiser than a sprinter. The Revv1 DRT topped out at 36 miles per hour, which is solid, but definitely on the lower end compared to the top contenders. And finally, the Super73 RX. Unlocked, it gave us a top speed of around 32 miles per hour. Not bad, but for a bike that leans so hard into motorcycle styling, it leaves some speed on the table. If you want to know which e-bike actually has power, not just on paper, but in the real world, this is the test that tells the truth. Specs can be faked. Wattage can be exaggerated, but on a steep climb, it shows. Hill climbing is the lie detector test for e-bike motors. We took each bike up a 1-mile hill with an average 12% incline. Throttle only, no pedaling. This isn't just about speed, it's about torque, voltage stability, and controller efficiency. The Ariel Rider X-Class 60V absolutely dominated the hill. It held an average speed of 27.4 miles per hour, stayed smooth, and never once felt like it was struggling. This kind of performance isn't just motor size. It's Ariel's 60-volt system, high amperage controller, and solid motor tuning all working together. Next was the Revv1 DRT, averaging 24.2 miles per hour. It held strong, and you could feel that 1000-watt motor doing its job, even if it couldn't match Ariel's punch. The MotorGoat V3 came in behind that with an average of 22 miles per hour. Still a solid climb, especially considering it uses a direct drive motor, which usually isn't ideal for steep inclines. The Eahora Romeo Ultra averaged 21.6 miles per hour. While that sounds okay, it didn't feel like a 3000-watt motor. Acceleration was slower, and you can tell it was pushing hard just to maintain pace. And finally, Super73 RX brought up the rear, averaging 18.9 miles per hour on the climb. It made it to the top, but compared to the rest, it definitely lacked hill climbing confidence. In the end, this test confirmed it. Ariel isn't just fast on paper, it's fast under pressure. Where others bog down or fade, X-Class just keeps pulling. When you're riding bikes that weigh over 100 pounds and hit speeds above 40 miles per hour, stopping becomes just as important as going. Brakes aren't just nice to have, they're survival equipment. We tested each bike's stopping power from 20 miles per hour to 0, using consistent conditions and dry pavement. Here's what we experienced. The Super73 RX delivered the shortest stopping distance, right around 19.2 feet, thanks to its high-end Tektro 4-piston hydraulic brakes. No surprise there, considering they're among the best stop brakes you can have on any e-bike. The Ariel Rider X-Class 60V came in right behind it, stopping in 20 feet. Its 4-piston hydraulic setup with 203mm rotors felt strong, smooth, and confidence-inspiring, even after repeat braking. The MotorGoat V3 and Rev1 DRT were neck and neck, both using 4-piston setups with 203mm rotors. They stopped in the low 20s, around 20.3 feet to 20.8 feet, and both felt solid. No fade, no drama. But the Romeo Ultra fell short. With only 2-piston hydraulic brakes, it needed nearly 22 feet to stop, and you could feel the difference. There's just less bite, especially on a bike this heavy and fast. Now let's talk safety lighting, because it's not about just what you see, it's about being seen. The Ariel Rider Super73 Goat Power V3 run on 12-volt motorcycle-style lighting systems. These aren't your typical e-bike LEDs. They're seriously bright, with strong projection and even upgrade potential if you want aftermarket parts. Ariel's headlight is one of the brightest in the class. It comes with functional brake lights and turn signals that actually flash. Rev1 DRT has good headlights and brake lights, but no active turn signals. Romeo Ultra is the same, headlight is decent, but no signaling system at all. The MotorGoat V3 has a headlight and brake light, but the turn signals are the chasing style turn signals, which can be confusing. Super73 RX, on the other hand, has a good light package, bright headlight, brake light, only the rear light isn't that visible and doesn't have turn signals. So in the brakes and visibility category, it's a 2-bike race. Super73 has the best brake kit, but Ariel Rider hits that sweet spot of good brakes and a good lighting package that also has a functional horn. This is where things get tricky. Every e-bike brand throws out huge battery numbers, but what really matters is how far you can ride in the real world. So we tested all 5 bikes in the exact same way. Mixed throttle and pedal assist, high-speed riding, some hills, zero effort to conserve power. Let's start with the Eahora Romeo Ultra, because it actually gave us the longest range in this group, 40.1 miles before cutoff. Now that sounds amazing, and that is a good number, especially considering how heavy the bike is, but we need to be real here. The battery is advertised at 60 volts, 70 amp hours, which should give you around 4,200 watt hours of capacity. But when we measured it, we were only seeing around 3,200 watt hours of capacity, so it's likely closer to a 60 volt 50 amp hour pack in reality. That said, even with some questionable marketing, Romeo's range is still solid, and more than enough for daily commuting or weekend fun. Next up is the Ariel Rider X-Class 60 volt. This one uses a dual 60 volt 35 amp hour battery with Samsung 21700 cells. That's over 2100 watt hours of real usable capacity. It might not be the biggest on paper, but it's the most efficient in this group. This battery is resin filled for fire protection, water resistance, and better heat dissipation, something we rarely see in this price class. It also has custom built BMS, so it's protected against physical damage and overcurrent issues. In our testing, Ariel gave us 36.3 miles, which is incredible considering the speed we were riding at and how hard we pushed it. It might not have the biggest pack, but it gets every bit of performance out of it. It's also worth noting that Ariel includes 2 3-amp chargers, so you can charge 2 batteries at once or leave one charger at home and the other at work. That kind of charging flexibility is incredible in this category. The MotorGoat V3 is running a 60 volt 25 amp hour pack, and in our test it reached 21.2 miles. Not the longest range, but expected for its weight, riding style, and direct drive motor setup, which isn't as efficient at lower speeds or hill climbs. The Rev1 DRT uses a 52 volt 20 amp hour battery. While that sounds decent, in real world riding it delivered just 19 miles. It's definitely on the shorter side in this group. Fine for short commutes or errands, but you'll be charging more often. And the Super73 RX with a 960 watt hour battery gave us somewhere around 17.2 miles depending on how much throttle you use. It's decent for casual city rides, but it's not ideal for long range exploration without an extra battery. So in terms of raw distance, the Romeo Ultra took the lead. Ariel comes in second, but I feel Ariel Rider's battery can last longer as it uses 21700 cells rather than a pouch battery. Performance numbers are great, but they don't mean much if the bike feels cheap or falls apart after a few months. So let's look at how these bikes are actually built. Frame materials, finish quality, and the components you'll notice every ride. The Ariel Rider X-Class 60 volt hits a strong middle ground. It has a solid aluminum alloy frame, smooth welds, and a tidy cockpit. You also get wider tires, which are super comfortable. Cables are partially internal, and everything feels purpose-built. Not overly flashy, just well executed. The Rev1 DRT looks great in person. It features a dual crown inverted front fork, clean body lines, and one of the better fit and finish packages in this group. The handlebars and grips feel solid, and the paint has held up well in our long-term test. The Super73 still wins on design and branding. It's the most visually appealing by far, with premium welds and paint, and every part feels curated. But you're paying for that style, and the actual specs don't always match the looks. I can easily say that the Super73, Ride1Up, and Ariel Rider all have the same build quality. Once you ride those e-bikes, you can easily feel the quality difference with the other e-bikes. It is hard to tell just by looking at the website. The Romeo Ultra is big and flashy, but when you start looking closely, you'll notice compromises. The frame is steel, which adds weight and lowers corrosion resistance over time. The cables are a bit messy, and the finish is decent, but not at the same level as Ariel or Rev1. The MotorGo V3 is built like a tank. It's not the most refined or lightweight, but the mag wheels and full metal fenders give it a rugged feel. Some parts feel basic, but the overall construction is tough and durable. Speed is fun, but if you're bouncing all over the road or your back starts aching after 10 miles, that fun ends quick. So here's how these 5 bikes stack up when it comes to suspension performance and overall ride comfort. Let's start with the Rev1 DRT, because this bike surprises us with just how comfortable it is. It features a 150mm travel inverted front fork and a coil-sprung rear shock with both rebound and compression adjustment. The suspension is plush, but still responsive, and the geometry keeps you in an upright, relaxed position. If you're commuting or cruising long distances, this is the smoothest ride in the group. The Ariel Rider X-Class 60V comes in a close second. It's equipped with upgraded suspension from the older 52V version, and the tuning is well balanced. Not too soft, not too stiff. Combined with its fat 20 by 4.5 inch front and 5 inch rear tires, this bike absorbs bumps, cracks, and curbs really well. The saddle is one of the most padded in this category. Super comfortable, though not the most stylish. And the upright seating makes it easy to ride for longer stretches without fatigue. The Super73 lands in 3rd place. It has a more aggressive riding posture, which some riders love, but it does get tiring if you're not used to leaning forward. Suspension is capable for city riding and light trail use, but doesn't match the plushness of Ariel Rider or Rev1. The MotorGo V3 is built for stability and not comfort. It has a more rigid feel and a heavy setup that makes it great at high speeds, but not forgiving on your spine. Good for short bursts, not great for cruising. The Romeo Ultra has long travel suspension, but it's not well tuned. The front fork is soft and floaty, and the rear shock tends to bottom out under heavier riders. It's a comfortable seat, sure, but the overall ride lacks the control and refinement of the others. For long rides or rougher roads, the Rev1 DRT takes the win in comfort, no doubt. When you look past the numbers and styling, the real question is, what are you actually getting for your money? And which of these bikes brings the strongest overall package? The Ariel Rider X-Class 60V is hands down the best value in this lineup. For $26.99, you're getting the fastest 0 to 20 mph acceleration, the highest average hill climb speed, a high-capacity Samsung battery with real-world efficiency, comfort-focused ride with fat tires and upgraded suspension, excellent braking, safety lighting, and legal configuration options, and 2 3-amp chargers included in the box. It punches above its price in every performance category while still staying street legal when needed. No fluff, just a very complete, high-performing e-bike that feels like it should cost more. Next up is the Rev1 DRT. At $25.95, it's a bit cheaper than the Ariel Rider, but still offers a great all-around package. You get a comfortable ride, good suspension, sleek looks, and decent power. The range is on the shorter side, but it's a great pick for riders who want premium comfort and control. The MotorGo V3 is a beast. Fast and heavy with a loud attitude, but at $26.99, its price is the same as Ariel Rider and the Rev1 without offering more. Range is short, comfort is stiff, and the direct drive motor isn't as flexible in mixed conditions. The Romeo Ultra is the battery king, on paper at least. For $25.99, it offers serious range and top speed, but it's heavy, the acceleration is slow, and the build quality lags behind. Still, for straight-line commuters or big-mile riders, it has its place. The Super73 RX is in a different price tier at nearly $3,700. It's easily the best-looking, most brand-driven bike here, but performance-wise, it's outclassed. You're mostly paying for the design, status, and style. it is very hard to justify the price. At the end of the day, if you're looking for raw performance, comfort, reliability, and value, the Ariel Rider X-Class 60V is one that checks every box without breaking your wallet. That's our deep dive into 5 of the most hyped e-bikes on the market right now. We covered speed, power, comfort, and range, and which one actually gives you the most for your money. If you got value from this breakdown, hit that like button. And if you want more real-world e-bike reviews, subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you never miss a ride.